If you're in the Puerto Vallarta area and you want to get a good look at some rather large crocodiles, then the best place to do that is in the former fishing village of Boca de Tomates. There's a potential for crocodiles in all the freshwater streams and mangrove groves around Puerto Vallarta and in the bay. Probably the easiest place to find them are in the Marina district, right in the marina itself, through the golf course and all the way to the mangrove grove behind the village of Boca de Tomates. In this video, I'll take you on a 5-kilometer, 3-mile hike through the Marina district, including the marina itself, and then behind it past the resorts and beautiful houses, around the golf course, and along the beach to the fishing village of Boca de Tomates. Along the way, we'll check out the marina itself to see if we can find crocodiles there. And then along the beach, there's a place where the mangrove grove comes quite close to the beach. We'll check that spot. At the fishing village, we'll then proceed behind it down a road for about half a mile or 0.8 kilometers, where we'll find a fenced-off area where the road runs through the mangrove grove. And always behind this fence, you're going to find the highest concentration of the largest crocodiles in the area. When I mean large crocodiles, I'm talking some up to about 4 meters or 12 feet long. Now, I would rate this hike as easy, maybe even very easy, as there's no hills to climb. It's all on level ground. 5 kilometers is not a huge distance, but if you feel that is a little bit far for you, you can actually take a taxi to the other end of the golf course and probably cut the distance in half. Or if you really want it short, you can actually take a taxi or Uber right to the village of Boca de Tomates, and then you'll only have a very short walk to see the crocodiles. So we caught one of the local buses to the marina, and the marina is just past the cruise ship terminal. At the marina, you'll see a large whale sculpture as well as a large statue of Neptune sitting on top of the Neptune Plaza. Well, we were fortunate. As soon as we arrived in the marina, we found this crocodile just sitting on the side right next to the boats. And it's not unusual to find a few crocodiles in this area, and you're going to see lots of signs that say, beware of crocodiles or danger crocodiles, or I guess in Spanish it's crocodilos. So definitely this is not a place that you would like to swim at. Just a baby.
Yeah. No, she was waiting to me.
Yeah. Wow. Just catching some rays. Well, there's the first crocodile of the day. Hopefully we're going to see a lot more on our way to Boca de Tomates and then behind Boca de Tomates. And this is the Puerto Vallarta Marina. No more dogs. No more dogs. No. So the first part of our hike is through the Marina district, the marina itself, and I really like coming through here. I like looking at the boats, and if you just want to go to this particular location, it's a great place, especially at night. There's lots of restaurants with lots of variety of different foods, from Italian to Mexican and everything in between, so it's a great fun place. Every Thursday they have a market, which really makes it a lot of fun. So it's a little subdued during the day, and we're a little bit early. I think it's around 10 o'clock. But it picks up in the afternoon, and it definitely has a lot of activity at night. But the highlight here for me is just checking out the waterfront, looking at the boats, and occasionally you'll see, actually more than occasionally, it's quite common to catch some crocodiles swimming around here, mostly on the corners, I will say. And then there's also lots of iguanas that you can also see warming themselves up along the rocks here, and a lot of fish swimming by as well. And here are a couple of iguanas as an example. There's one restaurant that actually overhangs the water, and if you get a chance, go there. The food there is excellent. So the next stage of the hike is to exit the actual marina section and go back to towards the beach, I guess would be the best way to describe it. And this is where we're going to find the beachfront resorts, and we're also going to see a lot of individual family homes as well. There are quite a few condominiums around the marina itself, and they're great locations because they actually offer excellent views of the marina and all the boats, and there's a lot more being built as we speak. The only thing I don't really like about this area is that sometimes it's a little bit difficult to get to the beach. There's a couple of access points, but they're not very obvious, and sometimes the hotels don't let you through. But in reality, there's a couple that they're supposed to let you through, and I'm going to show you one near the Bayview Grand. It's not marked, but you are allowed public access, or it is public access, and they will open the gates for you and take you down to the beach. And for the first part of this hike, or the way to Boca de Tomate we will use that way, and on the way back we'll follow a different route. So leaving the inner harbor of the Marina, you just follow the street and it'll take you right to the very back section, and you'll see the Shangri-La Resort. As soon as you see that, you'll hang a right and we'll be following this sidewalk right in front of all the resorts right to the Bayview Grand Resort. And that's where we'll be getting access to the beach. And from there, it's a straight shot to the village of Boca de Tomates. So what I like most about this particular section of the hike is you got these great resorts on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side you see a lot of individual family homes, but there's also a lot of different statues that they keep or they have erected down the middle of the road here, and some of them are just incredibly beautiful and pretty ornate, such as this one here, which is basically several dolphins, or a school of dolphins. I guess it's called a pod of dolphins in reality, swimming. And the way they've laid it out in this sort of fountain or like structure is actually quite nice. And there are several of these sculptures all the way along this boulevard and actually throughout the Marina district, and they're, taking these hike is just makes it that much more special to see these types of structures. The other thing I like about it are these streets are all tree lined, so there's lots of shade as well. So this is the entranceway to the resort called the Bayview Grand. It's actually the car entranceway. You don't want to go through the main entrance to the resort. You just talk to the security guard here and they'll open the gate. They'll call another security guard to let you through the gate at the beach end, and you can see that there's a walking path on the left-hand side. And I've never had a problem here. I just ask and they always let you through. Whereas at the other end, I believe it's at the west end, I could be wrong there, there's supposed to be another public access there as well, but I've had trouble going through that particular area to get to the beach. But this one, there seems to be no issue. And if there was an issue, you just need to continue on down the road around the golf course, and there's a road that takes you right to the beach as well. And I'll show you that when we come across it later on in this video. So once you reach the beach, you hang a right, and we'll follow that all the way down until we get to the village of Boca de Tomates. But we'll have 2 stops here, or 3 stops actually. The first stop will be at the end of the airport runway, where you can see small and large planes alike take off, and that's actually pretty interesting. And they come by generally every 10 minutes, so it's fun to hang out there and see what it's like to have a plane fly right over your head, because that is typically the end of the runway, and most of the times the planes are flying from the east to the west, or taking off from the east to the west. Sometimes they do come in from the west to the east, but that's very unusual. The second stop will be at the Turtle Sanctuary, and this is where they collect turtle eggs from all over the Bay Area. People notify this particular establishment, I believe it's a charity. When a turtle lays its eggs, they dig them up, they bring them here, and once they hatch, they have turtle releases. I believe it's right, the turtle releases happen at this site, and you just need to call them and find out when the next one is. And the turtle releases happen always at just at nightfall when there's a moon. I guess the turtles are, for their own protection, they want to release them at night so none of the birds get them, and 2, they're attracted by the light of the moon, and therefore they release them at that time. And they generally announce when that's going to happen, or you can call this establishment and they will let you know when the next release is. And I don't believe they charge any money for that, but they do request a donation so they can keep on doing the good work that they do. Then the third stop before the village will be at the mangrove grove. So the mangrove grove is actually all around this part of the airport, and it comes out very close to one section of the beach here. So if you go up there, I would say probably 50% of the times at the most, probably 1 out of every 2 times, but maybe 1 out of every 3 or 4 times I go past here, there's some crocodiles sunning themselves on the beach, which makes up part of the mangrove grove. Now, you don't want to get too close because they only have a small fence there, but that fence is far enough away from the mangrove grove shore that you really shouldn't have any danger. But I always proceed with caution as I approach it to make sure I know exactly where all the crocodiles are. So right now, that's our first plane as we're walking towards the end of the airport runway. You can see a plane has just taken off, and later on this video, there'll be another. At this point, we have the golf course on the right-hand side, so it's the extreme north end of the golf course. I think it's hole number 13, and this is where you can actually find a road. So if you want to shorten your hike by half, so right now this total hike to the Crocodiles is 5 kilometers or about 3 miles. This will cut it down to about 2.5 kilometers or 1.5 miles. Just have your taxi or Uber driver drop you off at the end of the street Paseo Boca Negra, which runs parallel to the airport runway. So now we'll be walking immediately in front of the airport runway, and I always find on this stretch of the beach there's always a lot of fishermen, especially on the weekends, which it is today. And here they're all spread out, just casting from shore. But I've been here when they've had some boats and some gill nets as well. So I talked to the guys here. They were catching some small fish, nothing large. But it seems to me that this is a very popular place to fish. So if you come into the Bay Area and you're looking for a place to try your luck, I would highly recommend this area. Based on the number of people here, and most of them are locals, giving it a shot. So on the right-hand side, you can see quite a large fence, and obviously that's the fenced-off area for the runway of the airport. Buen día. So right in the middle of the runway here, there's actually a small house, and it's been here for many years, and it seems to be expanding every year. It's cleaned up, they've got some plants there, and there's definitely people living there. I don't know the history behind it, but it sure is interesting that somebody actually lives here. So after the end of the airport runway, we're going to walk a little bit further, and we're going to come to a section where the mangrove grove beside the airport actually runs very close to the beach, and we're going to go check it out and see if there's any crocodiles sunning themselves. So the mangrove grove that we want to check out is just immediately to the left of the airport fence. So as soon as the fence line ends, head on over to your right, sort of in towards the beach, and you're going to see a very small sort of temporary fence there. Approach it, I guess, quietly and cautiously in case the crocodiles are a little bit closer than you think. And once we get over here, you'll actually see there's a sign that's broken there. But if you look down the beach, and I can see one right now, there is actually a couple of crocs sitting out and sunning themselves. That is a big animal, that one. Wow. I can see two, but I bet you there's more. The water's quite low now, so it's got a little bit of a drop off there. Before you could see more, they'd be all over the shores. That is so cool. Yes. So there's only 2 crocodiles on the shore sunning themselves today, so we are going to head off further down the beach, and our next stop, or third stop before we reach the village of Boca de Tomates, will be the Turtle Preserve or Sanctuary. So a short distance later, we're going to come up to the Turtle Sanctuary, and if you look on the right-hand side, you'll see that. So here we are at the Turtle Release Sanctuary. They collect the eggs all around the bay. So people then call this organization, and they pick them up. They collect them. So these ones are the ones that have been already collected, and they've probably been released. And these are the ones they are in the sand, and they got dates or tags on each one, so they know when they expect them to come out of the sand. Then at night is when they release them. They announce it on some of the PV sites, and you come out, and I believe it's just a donation you have to make. Unfortunately, today there was nobody here for us to have a discussion with about the turtles and find out when they plan to do their next release. But they are all set up for a discussion. They've got some turtle shells here. They've got a display where they show the eggs and how the turtles climb through the sand to the surface and then escape to the ocean. And a variety of other exhibits. The one I found the most impressive are these placards, which explain, I think, 7 different turtle species that come into the Bay Area to lay their eggs and populate the species. One I didn't know, they actually have a display here for a leatherback turtle, which I believe is the largest turtle that you find in the ocean. I had heard occasionally that they come here, or they did at one time quite a few, but now it's very few and far between the sightings for these larger turtles. Anyways, it looks like a great setup, and if you have the opportunity and if you're in the PV area, contact these people from the Turtle Release or Sanctuary, and they'll tell you what time they'll be doing their releases, and it's a good thing to come out here. Now, as I said before, I believe they only take donations to help support their causes. So now we'll continue on down the beach just a short distance, and we're going to come to the village of Boca de Tomates. We're going to be having lunch there, and if you're looking for a great lunch at really reasonable prices, especially seafood, then this is the place to go. But before we have lunch, we're going to go through the village, and just behind it, about a half mile or 0.8 kilometers, we're going to come to the section in the mangrove grove where the road cuts across it, where you're definitely going to be able to see some very large crocodiles, and that's coming up next. As I said earlier, this is a former fishing village. I don't believe they're doing actual fishing here on a regular basis, other than potentially going out to get some fish that they'll be serving in the restaurants. And speaking of restaurants, I think there's got to be at least 10 or 15 separate establishments here. All are great. We tend to go to one in the middle of the group here called the Ramada Chibata, I believe it's called, but they're all good. The reason I choose that one is that they've got an open flame fire pit in the back, and this is where they cook up some really good fish. They butterfly it essentially, and they serve it in a serendado sauce, which I really like. Not going to have that today because I just had it the other day at a different location, but if you're looking for some great pescado serendado, this is the place to go, and I'm sure a lot of the different restaurants serve it here. And I must say, I find the prices here are significantly less than what you'll find in Puerto Vallarta. Now, most of the time, it's mostly locals here, and perhaps that's why the prices are better than Puerto Vallarta, but you will find a number of tourists here as well, but I would say it is dominated by the locals in the area. So now that we've cut through the restaurants, we're just cutting through their rather large parking lot. There's a road at the end, and we need to hike approximately half a mile or 0.8 kilometers, and that's where we're going to find a whole bunch of large crocodiles, and you'll see that shortly. So at the end of the road, there's a restaurant and a fenced-off area where you can see the crocodiles. And I think one of the reasons all these crocodiles are here is because of this restaurant. I suspect they might be feeding them, and the crocodiles have become used to it, and therefore they hang out here. But you know you're there when you see the restaurant, plus all these signs saying, "Beware of the crocodrillos."
I like this. No feeding.
Precaution. Crocodrillos, oh yeah. Look at this. Huge.
Oh, wow.
3 of them, 4, 5.
That is huge.
So many.
Because they're looking at us. At least they're real friends.
Yes. Wow. How big do you think they are?
4 meters? Maybe more?
10 feet anyways, for sure. 12 feet, 4 meters. Some of the bigger ones here. This one over here is big and fat. The one down below. Oh, this one's closed.
Oh,
The one with his big mouth open too. Yeah, he's big boy. Wow. Want to stick your finger there?
Como que le metieron un palo.
Oh,
Y
some in his nose, yeah.
Oh. Poor guy. He's hurt.
Yeah. Wow, he's watching us.
yo pienso que está bien viejo ese animal.
Look at the teeth on him.
He's hurt.
Trae un pedacito de pan.
Look at the teeth.
A ver si lo come. No, a ver si hace por
A ver
comer.
si reacciona.
Well, that's as close as I've ever been to one.
Yeah, me too.
Baby crocodile. They say he's only 5 months old.
Oh. His mouth open. You probably have predators when they're that young.
Wow. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 here. One on the other side, and then the baby. No, 8 on this side. Wow. That's huge. Well, this is right by the airport. You imagine if your plane crashed?
Es Neymarta, 15 years, 50 años.
50 years old?
Yes,
It's the biggest one?
sí, yes. Julio, Luis, Miguel, vámonos, hay que moverse, mi Julio. ¿Cómo está mi Julio?
How old do they get? That is incredible.
Can they climb in the trees? Probably not.
So I hope you enjoyed the crocodiles. Now I'm going to take you back to the fishing village and we're going to try some dinner. So the woman on the left was just boiling up some popo, otherwise known in English as octopus. And I've had it before, not here, but I normally get it grilled and with a serendado sauce. But we're at the restaurant Ramada Chabela. And it's the one I always go to, not because any other one is any less good, but I've had such good luck here, and I like their open fire grill. So we're a little bit early. It's only around 12 o'clock or just before 12, so there's not too many people here. But on the weekends, this place is generally hopping with a lot of tourists as well as the locals. And as I said earlier, the prices are fantastic, so I highly recommend that you try them out here. Another day at the ranch, this time with crocodiles. Here we are, hamburgers,
Hamburgers. Big hamburger.
French fries, and burritos. All while sitting by the beach. So this is in back of the restaurant. They're cutting up some fish. They're actually making the serendado or pescado serendado, which means they open up the fish, they butterfly it, they remove all the bones, they put butter and serendado sauce, which is like a chili chipotle, and they cook it on the open grill. And it's really, really good. If you have the opportunity to try it, I highly recommend it.
Otra foto.
1985.
Are you 85? Yeah. He's 83. So, I think that...
So now we're heading back, and just as we're heading back, we went past the exit of the runway, and sure enough, another plane flew over. We're heading on back to our bus stop, and I'm going to take you a slightly different way. So instead of being a 5 kilometer or 3 mile hike back, it's only going to be 4 kilometers, which is 2.5 miles. So here we're going to be walking along the road right beside the side of the airport runway, and also on our right hand side is the 13th hole of the golf course. So for the remainder of the walk, it'll be golf courses and some ponds, and if we're lucky enough, we'll also see some crocodiles on or near the ponds along the golf course. They just renovated this road, I should say, renovated the sidewalk and put a bicycle path in just recently. And I've seen they started painting some of the walls that surround the airport runway. So these murals are actually pretty spectacular. Well worth checking out. And Puerto Vallarta now is becoming famous for all their murals, and it looks like expanding away from the downtown and more to the outlying areas like the Marina district. Anyways, phenomenal artwork, well worth seeing as well. So at the end of this road, we'll be hanging right and following along the golf course, and because I want to take a look at some of the ponds and hopefully find a crocodile there. But you could go straight, and that'll take you out to the main highway, the 200, where you can catch a bus as well. But have any crocodilos on the side here. Doesn't look like it. Not today. No crocodilos. We didn't see a crocodile on that hole, but we did on the next one. He was a little bit far away, so only got this little picture of him. Well, we made it past Starbucks here up to the 200 highway, and that's where we're going to catch our bus. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, just drop me a note. I check my messages fairly regularly, at least once a day, and I'll get back to you. Only too happy to help if you have a question. Take care, everybody.